Before you blame the world for your problems, ask yourself, have I truly understood who I am and what I want? Because the moment you start thinking about yourself, your real journey begins. When we talk about success, most people imagine money, fame, and power. But very few stop and ask, what am I really good at? The world teaches us to chase opportunities, but it rarely teaches us to understand ourselves. Knowing your strengths is not just about what you can do. It's about what makes you come alive. Every person has a unique ability, something that sets them apart. Some people have the power to lead, others to create, others to heal, inspire, or build. But the tragedy is that most people spend their entire lives running in circles, comparing their paths with others and forgetting to discover their own gift. Think about it. How many times have you done something just because everyone else was doing it? Maybe you chose a career your parents wanted or followed a trend your friends followed. That's how most people live, not by design, but by default. And that's where the real danger lies. You can work day and night, but if it's not aligned with your strengths, you will feel empty, no matter how much you achieve. The world will tell you to work harder, but what you really need to do is think deeper. Before you chase success, ask yourself, what can I do better than anyone else if I truly dedicate myself? That's where your power begins. When you know your strengths, you don't compete, you create. You stop fighting for attention because your work starts speaking for itself. Think of the people who built something remarkable. They didn't follow the crowd. They mastered one thing, one area, one passion, and gave it everything they had. The truth is, life rewards those who have clarity. Clarity gives you direction, and direction gives you confidence. Once you understand what you're meant to do, your decisions become sharper, your energy becomes focused, and your success becomes inevitable. The people who seem lucky are often just the ones who knew where to aim. But here's something most people ignore. Your strengths don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper. They show up in the things you enjoy doing when no one is watching. Maybe it's solving problems, writing ideas, helping others, or organizing chaos. It's usually something that feels natural to you, so natural that you might not even recognize it as a strength. That's why thinking about yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Spend time with yourself, reflect, experiment, make mistakes. Every step you take toward understanding yourself saves you years of running in the wrong direction. Knowing your strengths also means knowing your weaknesses. You can't be great at everything, and that's okay. The problem starts when people waste time fixing every weakness instead of doubling down on their natural gifts. The best people in the world are not perfect. They are focused. They accept what they're not good at and build their lives around what they are good at. They don't try to do everything alone. They find people who complement their weaknesses. That's what thinking about yourself really means. Not arrogance, but awareness. It's the balance between knowing who you are and knowing who you're not. And finally, remember this, your strengths are not static, they grow with you. What you're good at today may evolve into something greater tomorrow. Never stop learning, never stop exploring yourself. Life is not a race, it's a discovery. The deeper you understand your strengths, the easier your journey becomes. Because once you know who you are, no one can confuse you. Once you find your direction, no one can stop you. The real success story begins not when you reach the top, but when you truly understand what makes you different from everyone else. One of the greatest prisons in the world has no bars, no locks, and no guards. It's the prison built by other people's opinions. From childhood, we are surrounded by voices telling us who we should be, what we should do, and what we can or cannot achieve. Parents, teachers, society, friends, everyone has an opinion about your life, and for a while, you start believing them. You start to think that maybe they're right, maybe your dreams are too big, maybe you're not good enough, maybe you should just be realistic. That's how most people lose their magic, not because they're incapable, but because they allow other people's doubts to define their limits. But here's a truth few will tell you. No one truly knows your potential better than you do. People can only see you from the outside. They don't feel the fire that burns inside you. They don't hear the dreams that keep you awake at night. So when someone says, you can't, what they really mean is, I couldn't. Their words reflect their own limitations, not yours. If you start living your life to please others, you will never live it fully. You will always be performing for an audience that doesn't understand your story. You'll end up chasing approval instead of purpose. And that is a slow, painful way to live. Every successful person at some point was laughed at, doubted, or ignored. People told them their ideas wouldn't work. Their efforts were a waste of time, their dreams were impossible, and yet they continued. Why? Because they understood something simple. Opinions are temporary, but conviction is eternal. The world respects results, not opinions. The same people who criticize you today will praise you tomorrow when you prove them wrong. But if you give up too early, you'll never reach that moment. Remember this: silence your critics, not with arguments, but with results. There's another danger in following opinions. You start comparing your life with others. You look around and see people who seem to be doing better, achieving faster, living happier. And without realizing it, you start measuring your worth by someone else's timeline. But comparison is a thief of peace. Everyone's journey is different. What works for someone else might destroy you. The more you think about how others see you, the less time you spend building who you really are. That's why you must train your mind to focus inward, not outward. Think about yourself, your growth, your pace, your mission. The only person you need to compete with is the one you were yesterday. People will always talk. Whether you win or lose, succeed or fail, they will have something to say. So why let their voices control your choices? The truth is, the more unique you are, the more resistance you'll face. The world is comfortable with average, not with different. So if you're criticized, take it as a compliment. It means you're doing something others don't have the courage to do. Great minds are rarely understood in their time. Don't try to fit in when you were born to stand out. Build a mindset so strong that no one's words can shake your direction. And finally, remember that your life belongs to you, not to the people who judge you. You don't need to explain your path to anyone who doesn't walk in your shoes. When people see you chasing something greater than yourself, they might laugh, but deep down, they're just afraid because your courage reminds them of their own hesitation. Keep moving forward quietly. Don't respond to noise with noise. Respond with progress. One day, your results will speak so loudly that no opinion will matter anymore. So protect your vision. Guard yourself. Believe like a treasure. Listen to advice, but don't let it control your identity. Because if you spend your life trying to satisfy everyone else, you'll forget to satisfy the one person who truly matters, yourself. Opinions fade. Trends change, but your truth, your purpose is timeless. Failure, the word that scares most people more than anything else. The fear of failing has stopped more dreams than failure itself ever did. From a young age, we are taught that failure means you are not good enough. You fail an exam, you feel worthless. You lose a job, you feel ashamed. You face rejection, you feel broken. But the truth is, failure is not a signal to stop. It's a lesson to start again smarter. Every time you fail, life is not punishing you. It's teaching you. It's showing you what doesn't work so you can eventually discover what does. Think about it. Every great invention, every successful business, every inspiring story began with failure. The people who changed the world didn't succeed the first time, they failed over and over again. But they didn't see failure as a wall. They saw it as a teacher. They learned, adapted, and came back stronger. That's the difference between people who make history and people who quit halfway. The truth is, you can't grow without discomfort. You can't improve without mistakes. Failure is simply the universe's way of building your strength before giving you success. The problem is, most people take failure personally. They think, if I failed, it means I'm not capable. But that's wrong. Failure doesn't define who you are. It only defines where you are right now. You are not your results, you are your effort. The biggest mistake people make after failing is giving up too soon. They start doubting themselves instead of asking, what can I learn from this? Remember, you can lose everything, but if you don't lose your ability to learn, you'll always rise again. Success doesn't come to those who never fall. It comes to those who fall, learn, and rise again with more determination than before. Here's something you must understand. Failure is part of progress. Every time you fail, you are moving closer to success because you're gaining experience that no book, no mentor, no shortcut can give you. Failure shapes your perspective. It humbles you. It builds resilience. Without failure, success would have no meaning. Imagine if everything came easy. Would victory feel the same? Of course not. It's the struggle that gives value to the reward. The more you fail, the more you learn to appreciate success. The more you lose, the more you understand what truly matters. Don't let fear of failure control your decisions. People who are afraid to fail never try anything new. They stay safe, small and silent. But growth doesn't live in comfort zones. It lives in courage. You'll never discover your real strength until you're pushed to your limits. The truth is, no one remembers how many times you failed. They only remember when you succeed. But you'll never get to that moment unless you keep going through the failures. So fail fast, fail forward, and fail wisely. Every mistake carries a lesson. The question is, will you run from it or learn from it? And remember this, failure not only teaches you about your work, it teaches you about yourself. It shows you your patience, your discipline, your resilience. It reveals who your true friends are and who stands with you only when things are easy. It forces you to grow, to think differently, to improve yourself. That's why the people who have failed the most are often the ones who have the deepest wisdom. They've been through pain, disappointment, rejection, and survived. That's what makes them strong. That's what gives their success meaning. So don't fear failure. Study it. Learn from it. Because one day, when you finally achieve your goal, you'll look back and realize that every failure was a step you had to climb. Every no was guiding you toward the right yes. Every rejection was redirection. The path to success is not a straight line. It's a journey full of mistakes, lessons, and growth. And once you understand that, you'll never be afraid to try again. We live in a world where everyone wants things fast. Fast money, fast fame, fast success. But the problem with fast things is that they don't last long. People want to shine today, even if it means burning out tomorrow. They chase the spotlight, not realizing that attention fades, but growth remains. You see it everywhere. People doing things not because they believe in them, but because they want to be seen. They care more about how things look than how things are. But real success doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in silence, in the hours no one sees, in the struggles no one talks about. When you think about yourself, your growth, your future, your purpose, you stop chasing noise and start building depth. The truth is, long-term growth is not exciting, it's slow, quiet, and sometimes even lonely, but it's real. The people who truly make it in life are not the ones who went viral. They're the ones who were consistent. They didn't just show up when it was easy. They kept going when no one clapped for them. They were focused on building something that lasts, not something that trends. If you want to build a strong life, stop asking how fast you can get there and start asking how far you can go. Short-term attention is like sugar. It gives you a quick rush, but leaves you empty afterward. You might get applause, validation, or likes for a moment, but they fade. And when they do, you'll be left wondering what's next. That's why you must learn to delay gratification. Don't rush your process just to prove something to others. Real success is not about being impressive. It's about being impactful. You can impress people for a day, but if you focus on growth, you can inspire people for a lifetime. The difference between a performer and a leader is that one seeks applause while the other seeks purpose. Long-term growth requires patience, and patience is rare. We want results without effort, reward without struggle, success without time. But the truth is, everything meaningful takes time to build. A tree doesn't grow overnight. It needs roots before it can stand tall. The same goes for your goals. You must build your roots, discipline, resilience, humility, focus. Without these, success won't last. That's why you should think about yourself in the long run. Who do you want to be 5 years from now? Not just how good you want to look today. Your consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. One of the biggest traps of short-term attention is comparison. When you see someone else doing better, you feel like you're behind. But you're not behind, you're on your own timeline. Everyone's season is different. The people you admire today probably spent years preparing in silence before anyone noticed them. So instead of feeling pressured, feel inspired. Focus on your process, your improvement, your journey. The goal is not to outshine others. It's to outgrow yourself. Don't measure your worth by how much attention you get. Measure it by how much progress you've made. The beauty of long-term growth is that it builds something solid, something no one can take away from you. When your skills grow, when your mindset improves, when your confidence strengthens, you become unstoppable. Even if you lose everything, you can rebuild it because you've built yourself. That's why focusing on long-term growth is the smartest investment you'll ever make. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the one who lasts when the noise fades. People who chase attention disappear when the trend ends, but those who focus on growth become timeless. So, work quietly. Be patient with your journey. Don't post every step, live it. Don't announce every goal, achieve it. Let your success speak when it's ready. Think beyond today, because the future belongs to those who build it brick by brick, day by day. Remember, attention fades fast, but growth compounds. The slow progress you make today will become the foundation for everything you achieve tomorrow. So stop rushing. Stop comparing. Focus on growing into the kind of person whose success doesn't need to be explained. It will speak for itself. The biggest danger to success is not failure, it's comfort. The moment you think you know enough, you stop growing. The moment you stop learning, you start declining. Life never stands still. It keeps moving, evolving, and changing. The people who stay ahead are not the smartest. They are the ones who stay curious. The ones who keep asking questions, keep exploring, keep improving. When you think about yourself, truly think, you realize that the only constant in life should be growth. Every day should teach you something new, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable. Many people believe that education ends when school or college ends, but education is not limited to books, classrooms, or degrees. It's a lifelong journey. The real world teaches lessons that no university can. Every mistake, every rejection, every challenge carries wisdom if you're willing to learn from it. Some of the most successful people never stopped being students, not of school, but of life. They observed others, studied patterns, asked questions, and adapted quickly. They understood that learning is not a phase, it's a mindset. And that mindset separates those who survive from those who thrive. When you stop learning, you stop seeing opportunities. You become stuck in the past, holding on to what worked yesterday, blind to what could work tomorrow. The world is moving fast. Technology, business, and even communication evolve every day. What made you successful today might make you irrelevant tomorrow if you refuse to grow. That's why it's important to challenge yourself constantly. Read more, listen more, explore more. Don't fear being a beginner again. Every expert you admire was once a beginner who refused to stay the same. Curiosity is the foundation of wisdom, and humility is the doorway to mastery. But learning isn't always easy. Sometimes it hurts. It challenges your beliefs, your ego, your comfort zone. Many people avoid learning new things because they don't want to feel less smart. But true intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about admitting how much you don't know. The smartest people are those who are humble enough to say, teach me. Every time you learn something new, you expand your perspective. You see the world differently. You understand people better. And you become stronger, not just in skill, but in spirit. Learning also means unlearning, letting go of outdated ideas and replacing them with better ones. Sometimes, what you learned before might limit your growth today. You must be brave enough to question what you were once sure about. The world changes, and so should you. The person you were 5 years ago shouldn't be the same person you are today. If your mindset hasn't evolved, your success won't either. Thinking about yourself means asking, am I growing, or am I just existing? The answer to that question defines the direction of your life. And remember, learning doesn't just come from success. It often comes from pain. The lessons you get from losing are more powerful than the ones you get from winning. Every setback carries a secret message if you have the patience to look for it. Life is the best teacher, and it never stops teaching. Every person you meet, every place you go, every challenge you face, All of them are classrooms waiting for your attention. You just need to be open enough to listen. So keep learning, even when you think you've learned enough, because the moment you stop learning, the world moves on without you. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. Knowledge gives you freedom, the freedom to choose better, to act smarter, to live wiser. Don't just collect information, collect experiences, grow from every mistake, evolve through every challenge. Stay curious, stay humble, stay teachable. Because the ones who keep learning are the ones who keep rising, not just in their careers, but in their lives. Confidence. Everyone wants it, but very few understand where it truly comes from. People think confidence is about speaking loudly, walking boldly, or looking successful. But real confidence doesn't come from pretending, it comes from doing. You can read 100 books about swimming, but you'll never learn until you jump into the water. You can imagine success all day long, but until you take action, nothing changes. Confidence is not built in your mind, it's built in your movement. The more you act, the more you learn, the more you trust yourself. The truth is, most people wait for confidence before they take the first step. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. But that day never comes, because you'll never feel completely ready. The fear, the doubt, the hesitation, they'll always be there. The secret is not to wait until you're confident. It's to act while you're scared. Action kills fear faster than waiting ever will. Every small step you take weakens the power of doubt. Every small victory adds a layer of belief inside you. That's how real confidence is born. Not from perfection, but from progress. Think about the people you admire. Leaders, creators, entrepreneurs, artists. None of them started with full confidence. They began like everyone else, unsure, nervous, uncertain. The difference is they acted anyway. They didn't wait to feel brave. They became brave by taking action. Every failure, every mistake, every setback gave them experience, and experience gave them confidence. That's the part people don't see. We look at their success and call them lucky, but luck didn't give them confidence. Consistency did. They kept showing up, even when it was hard, even when no one believed in them. Confidence doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from challenge. If you only do what feels easy, you'll never stretch your limits. You have to take risks, face rejection, try new things, and sometimes fail in front of others. That's how you build mental toughness. Every time you push through something uncomfortable, you prove to yourself that you can. And the more you prove it, the less you doubt yourself. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you keep avoiding challenges, your confidence will fade. You'll start believing you can't. Not because you aren't capable, but because you never tried. There's a common mistake people make. They think too much and act too little. They plan, overthink, analyze, and wait for the perfect moment. But overthinking kills more dreams than failure ever could. Action is where clarity lies. The more you do, the more you understand. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to work your way into it. Start with small steps. Speak up in meetings. Share your ideas, learn a new skill, talk to new people. Take small actions that stretch you slightly beyond your comfort zone. With time, those tiny steps add up and turn into massive growth. And remember, confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you're capable, even when things get tough. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove or show off. It's built on the knowledge that you faced challenges before and survived. It's built on effort, not ego. That's why confident people stay calm when others panic. They trust their experience. And that trust only comes from doing, not dreaming. You might fail, you might fall, you might look foolish, but that's part of the journey. Every time you fail and stand up again, your inner voice changes. It goes from, I can't, to I can try, to I will. That shift doesn't happen in your imagination. It happens in your action. Every challenge you face builds another layer of belief. Every day you move forward, even a little, makes you stronger than you were yesterday. So, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the right moment, the perfect plan, or someone else's approval. Start now. Start small, but start. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking about yourself. It comes from building yourself. You don't find confidence by wishing for it. You earn it by working for it. And once you've built it, no one can take it away from you. So, after everything we've talked about, your strengths, your mindset, your failures, your growth, your learning, and your confidence. Remember, this is the greatest project you will ever work on, is yourself. People spend their entire lives thinking about what others want, their parents, their friends, society, the world. But the moment you stop asking, what do they think of me? And start asking, what do I think of myself? Your life begins to change. When you think about yourself, you don't become selfish. You become self-aware. You begin to see your worth, your power, your potential. You stop wasting time trying to fit in and start building the version of you that was always meant to stand out. Remember, no one can walk your path for you. No one can dream your dreams, feel your pain, or fight your battles. This journey is yours and yours alone. Yes, people will doubt you. Yes, you'll fail, you'll fall, you'll question yourself. But every scar, every struggle, every sleepless night will build the person you were destined to become. Don't chase attention. Build value. Don't wait for confidence. Create it through action. Don't run from failure. Learn from it. And above all, don't stop growing. Because growth is the only thing that turns ordinary people into extraordinary stories. So today, promise yourself this. From this moment forward, you will think about yourself always. Not out of pride, but out of purpose. Not because you're better than others, but because you owe it to yourself to become the best version of you. Because when you finally know who you are, the world will have no choice but to know it too.